morning and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Angela Soudi. I'll be your host and this is Elite Mastery. And today I am very happy to finally get on the podcast a good friend of mine, Maximilian Scheibel.
Yes.
Pronounce that right?
Hello.
We've been trying to pin Max down for a number of weeks now to come and talk to us, but he's so busy manning, 4 different locations that he's just not had the time. So first of all, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Really excited to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And I know that Max is going to share, lots of information and informative content with us today. So Max, you're originally from Munich. You were born in Munich.
Yes, exactly.
But you were raised in Berlin.
Yeah, East Berlin.
In East Berlin, sorry.
Super important.
And you came to Dubai 2016, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd love you just to share, your story. How does an East Berlin guy suddenly end up here in Dubai? I think you came here in your bio you said I came here for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
5 years later.
The classic, like
classic
everybody.
Story, still here.
Everybody.
So how did that journey happen?
So I worked in hospitality in the bar scene in Berlin for quite some time, I think since 2012. No, that's when I finished my apprenticeship. And I did only like bars and nightlife and these kind of concepts. And it is for a fact, it's very unhealthy for you, especially in the winter times. You hardly see any sun. And at the time I met this person where I had a relationship with her, and she was also fed up of Berlin. It's just Berlin gives everybody everything, and if you don't do it right, it could be like a little bit toxic and too much. And so we were both fed up. She got a really big job offer from Al Futtaim at the time. That was still back in 2015, I guess. And it took a lot of preparation for us to come to Dubai. And she asked me just do you want to go with me? And I said yeah, screw it, let's go. And so she had such a big job that I necessarily didn't look for a job so much. And I thought also to myself, a waiter job couldn't be so hard. Just go for it and then we find something. And we arrived in Dubai in April 2016, and I only got a job 6 months later in October. Yeah, so I was a full-time nanny. I took care of her daughter. Yeah, it was, at the beginning it was okay, we need that. We need someone at home. Yeah, we didn't want it to go for a nanny at all, because this is not our, this. In Germany, you hardly have someone who has a nanny. It's such a luxury thing.
Same in the UK.
You
raise
right.
your kids, yeah.
Yeah, though in Portugal, for example, I heard it's quite common, but we were no, we don't have a nanny. We don't have someone in our house, and forget that. So we were quite happy that I was there, but after quite some time, I was just I need something. And it wasn't that I didn't look for something, but reality hit hard in Dubai for me, because I was... in Berlin, I did manager jobs, but my last job was just a normal bartender, just do your job serving, and I had someone over me, just a normal thing. And so I thought to myself, okay, Dubai, I don't know the language so much, English, my English was very German, and so I had some problems to kind of realize that as a waiter I will not get a lot, and so I applied to someone who told me dude, you just applied for my job. And I'm what? And she's yeah, you're overqualified, you should look for a manager position. And I was okay. And then through a friend of a friend of a friend, I got a position at Organic, where I am still until today, 5 years ago, and still counting the days, and I love it. It's the greatest job.
And now you are managing, so you're the head of the cafe department for Organic Cafe and Supermarket.
Exactly.
And you know how much I love Organic Cafe, because you see me there pretty much every day. That's my go-to place for lunch. I love the ethos, the place, the food. So now you manage the cafes.
Yeah.
4 cafes now at the moment, used to be 5.
It used to be 5. I started there with 1 cafe, and I started there as a manager. There was a second cafe in the Greens, which is still existing, but I wasn't managing it. And there was a manager over there, and I did my stuff. Honestly, I had to prove myself. It was not just like, yeah, go and we trust you. So that was a big journey, and it was not easy at all. Like I had to learn so much, like stuff that I didn't thought about at the beginning, like all this communication and these different nationalities and Dubai laws, work laws, policies, and don't do that here and yes, do that here. You know, like it's very different if you just jump into. So I understand also if someone is hiring and say like, do you have any Dubai experience? This is a big a big selling point, because I adapt, I think. Like now with the experience, I see like, oh my God, like I did a lot of stuff where I thought like I couldn't do that, but I adapt a lot. But people who don't adapt easily are gonna have a hard time. And so after that, after like a year, then the other manager of the Greens stepped away. I took over that. Then we reopened in Abu Dhabi. So I had 3 cafes. We opened another branch on the Palm. And then the last project was a year ago, and that was like, it's like a good one, an intense one. We opened a cafe with 2 floors, very big. We did different stuff. We tried to hire different people with different background. And we learned some lessons. We did a lot of things right. Some mistakes are done, but also that's you have to learn through your mistakes. Yeah. So
amazing.
4 cafes.
So you've really had a big journey from beginning to now, and the growth, I think, because Organic Cafe has gone through such transition in such a short space of time. You know, you've been with them for 5 years, and they've expanded, they've closed, they've expanded. Yeah. So let's talk about, because I love the ethos of Organic Cafe. The first one that I went to was the one at the Greens. We were living in Emirates Golf Villas, and I used to walk in the heat because I couldn't be bothered driving all the way around. I used to walk and then visit and then walk back again. And we'd go there for breakfast in the morning, and I used to buy all my things there because back then it was almost impossible to find organic food. It was really difficult.
When was that?
That would have been 2013.
Okay. Oof. Oh yeah.
So a long time back, and it was almost impossible to find good quality. If you could find organic food, it was generally soggy, or it was going off. It just wasn't good quality. So that was my go-to place, and still is. So let's talk about the story of Organic Cafe. How did it originate? Who's the founder? What was, his sort of mindset when he opened this brand?
Yeah. So what you said is just like correct. There wasn't any organic, and like please, Mr. Niels, don't kill me if I tell it wrong. But just en gros, it was like that. He got sick. And visited some doctors, and they said basically to him, you got to change your diet, you have too much toxins in your body, and you got to eat organic. Yeah. And he's in Dubai based since ever. Like he's German as well, but lived most of his time in Dubai. And he was like, okay, good, then let's eat organic. But there is no organic. Yeah. And as a businessman as he is, he said, let's do it. And he told me, people were laughing at him. People were like what is that? Like, what is this organic, Mm-hmm. And I think also, no offense, but back in the days, I think like also the Emiratis were not prepared for it, but that was not his target audience at all, which has changed as well. Like, for example, we have like a branch in Merdov where we do not have a cafe, but in Merdov, there are only like either Emiratis or Arabs, or like people who are really like the Emiratis waking up and they're like okay, organic food, this is the way to go. So back in the days, I mean, we're speaking about 15 years, which is like in Dubai time, an eternity. In Europe time, maybe just like cute. But it was like there was no competition. Which has changed, and like Carrefour has a big range, Spinneys, Let's Organic, and all these kind of.
It must have also been, not that there were no competition, it must have been quite difficult back then to actually source products. Because he wouldn't have been growing them here, I guess. He would have had to have gone outside of the region to find.
Yeah,
you know,
like I mean, you can see that we go more and more local, especially in our fruit and veg. There you see local products more and more, which used to be only cucumbers, rocket salad, and so on. Still, we try to not get anything like so far away, like not more than 5 to 7 flight hours, away. It's not so easy, but still, if you go through our supermarket, you see a lot of products from Germany, from Poland, Europe, Spain, etc. Because it's hard to get, and then we meet a lot of people who say like, yeah, but it's from India, it's organic, and we're like, yeah, but where's it written? Like just because you say it's organic, and people are like why should we put something on our crops, you know? But the thing is, you need to have a certificate or evidence.
And do you do that due diligence? Do you do the background checks from the farms, from the manufacturers to see, you know, how they grow and how they?
Yes.
You do all of that.
I mean, we check first for the certification, EcoCert or something like that, and this is our first question if we work with someone together. Yeah.
And are you finding, Max, that, you know, we look at sort of 5-10 years ago, it was very difficult to find organic products here. Are you finding that there are more organic farms opening in this region, the UAE, in this area?
Yes. You see that also. We had recently a promotion on a local produce only, and I mean, I'm not dealing that much with the whole background of purchasing fruit and vegetables. I'm just like I'm taking them for my cafes. But I mean, I see it through the eyes of the customer, and I see like, oh, there's so much going on, you know, new stuff which we hadn't, and that leads, in my opinion, only to the conclusion that there's a bigger demand.
True.
More people are sick.
And also, I think, I mean, we see it here, you know, in our own company where, you know, potential clients that would come and say, oh, we want to open a healthy concept or an organic concept was very rare. Now, you know, even restaurants that are up and running with their own menus, they're coming and saying, look, we want some healthy options. We want some organic options. We want plant-based. Because I think post-COVID, everybody's become super healthy or healthy conscious.
Yes.
Have you seen the same?
Absolutely. And I don't want to say that make a good situation out of a bad one or something. Like, I mean, that's actually good, but I mean, like, don't take an opportunity or something like that. But we, there's only one item, for example, the healthy shot. It's like a ginger turmeric shot. Everybody you take them,
strong.
right?
Yes, I do.
And it's like it's crazy how many we sell, you know.
Since COVID.
Yeah, wow. And even we internal for our staffs, we were like, come around, take your shot, you know, and gave everybody the dose of vitamins. People started to transitioning to more healthy, and I mean, if you see in the news all the time, people getting sick, immune system, take care, yada yada yada, and people are like getting afraid. I wouldn't is the wrong word, but concerned maybe, and more health aware. So of course. And people are seeking for these green brands with the green logo and the sprouts on their menu and the superfoods and all these kind of things. So yes. I went
to do some market research at some of the, you know, the sort of fast food places, and it was interesting what they were saying, that now, you know, consumers are demanding, you know, plant-based burgers or plant-based meatballs or, you know, alternative meats. So you see this whole shift of, you know, consumer trends, whether it's a trend or whether it's here to stay, I guess time will tell. But we see a big shift, you know, in what people are wanting.
I mean, Burger King has this plant-based burger, right? It's like, what is Beyond Meat?
Beyond Meat.
That was crazy for me, because like for me, Burger King is like how is this possible that Burger King has a plant-based burger? It's because of the demand. Like people are like, they have to adapt. And there was a thing which happened pretty early, in my pretty early days in organic, was people were coming to the cafe and they said like, you have no vegetarian or vegan options. And that was true back in the days. The thing is, people think about organic and they think plant-based, which is not necessarily true, because like you see, we have a big range of meat and organic meat or free from antibiotics. It's a big thing for organic, but still people think like, how come you have no vegan options? So it piled up until to a point where I said like, we gotta do something big, vegan thingies, yeah. And so I came up with a vegan brunch. That was like something new, and everybody was like, "Are you sure?" And I remember like a lot of people internally like said to me like,
questioned
never gonna work. Really? So I got the option. I hope I don't get any trouble for telling the story, but they told me, okay, do it in a quiet time, because like it's not gonna work so well. So we did it in midsummer, you know, when you can drop a needle and you hear it, like where nothing is happening. So what I did is like I spoke to each and individual, like all our customers where I was aware, like, you are vegan, you are like a full freak and a good vegan freak. And I said, like, make this thing happen, make it, blow it up in your communities. I know you have these Facebook groups. And they did. And in like July or something like that, like a horrible month for the hospitality, I did this vegan brunch, and it was like, we had a queue like until like, you know, where the butchery starts, like when you, it was crazy. And we couldn't really believe it. I was so happy.
That's amazing.
And that was like more than 3 years ago. We still have the vegan brunch. We still have it, and we can't say no to it, because people are like, okay, it's the last month it's the last weekend of the month. It's vegan. Let's go there.
That's really, and that's pre-COVID. So that's even before, you know, this whole health conscious kick. So I'm sure now. That's
and
really
that was also to a time, like, if you're a hard Dubai expert since 13 years, please don't get me wrong, but I think like 3 years ago, it was also not so easy to have like these vegan events.
No.
Meanwhile, you have now like restaurants like Soul Green or something like that. They do amazing stuff, only vegan. You have Little Earth, and that's free publicity I do for you. But you have all these things.
It's nice to try, because people associate, they have this preconception that vegan food is bland. Vegan food has no flavor. And there's a plant-based restaurant in Miami, Planta, that's doing, have you heard of Planta? They're doing amazing. I mean, they're fully booked. You can't get reservations. And it's a full vegan menu. They do sushi, they do everything. You know, and it seems that if you delve in, I think that it does require a little bit more preparation, vegan food, because you do have to use a little bit more ingredients to make it tasty. But, you know, I'm all about plants. I love, you know, fresh food. So for me, I think, you know, it's a no-brainer. However, what I will say is that I tried to cheat my kids with macaroni and cheese, and I bought some vegan cheese, and it was the worst, disgusting cheese I've ever tasted.
Yes.
And they couldn't even eat it. So I don't know. I think there's still a little bit of, you know, way to go.
We have a similar item on in our stores. It's like the cauliflower fries, and we advertise it with, your kids won't even notice it. Yeah. Okay. I tried it. It's not the real deal, but it's still good though. But yeah, especially I have a problem with these vegan cheeses. Yeah, and to be honest, no offense, but I have a problem with this Beyond Meat burger. I tried it, so delicious, suspiciously delicious. Like, and I heard people saying, like, if you look into it, it's just like these vegetable oils and stuff like that, which can't be good on the long term. So
yeah, I agree. I think anything processed will have its, you know, downside as well as.
Yeah, but then I'm sitting on my high horse and having a burger every now and then, and I'm like,
don't say that yet. But I'm sure it's an organic burger, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Now let's talk about, you know, we talked about meats being organic and non-organic. You know, we know now that, you know, these huge farms, they're mass producing, mass farming, they're pumping these hormones and, you know, antibiotics into these animals. In your opinion, you know, what sort of long-term effect could that potentially have on somebody's health if they're not balancing it with a healthy diet?
I can tell you a story about myself, which I think it's pretty weird. Which I was born with eczema, neurodermitis. Yeah, okay. You can't see it right now, but you can, like, if you feel over it, it's like so. Like I literally, like when I was 18. I couldn't leave my bed sometimes. It was so crazy.
Wow.
So someone told me you have to cut out all the meat, for some reason. So I did that, and I lived vegetarian for like a year. For like a year, I lived vegetarian, but it didn't really work that well. It actually it became worse.
Okay.
Over the time. But I was like, I had this girlfriend and she like convinced me to, so I stick to it. The classic.
Make her happy.
But I really wanted to figure out what's wrong with me and how can I change that. And so it became worse and worse and worse, even though I was vegetarian and I listened to all these healthy people. And then I stopped it at one time and I went back to meat, to salami and all this kind of stuff. And I saw within a week a change of my body, how it became like better, like my skin became better.
Okay.
And I was like, I couldn't figure out why is that so. And my suspicion is that I was so pumped up, full of like these antibiotics and what you put into your meat. When I removed that to my body was like something is not right, you know. And I had like like kind of a stress situation. When I put it back to me, my body was like, oh yeah, everything is fine. So I think like on a long term, it's hard to say for me. I'm not a health expert, but I say like it changed our bodies. And it changed it so slowly that we might see it in a different generation, but yeah, it can't be good for us. What's happening? I don't want to say something wrong here, but can't be good.
So are you careful now with what you eat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, especially eggs. Especially like I kind of cut out completely like milk, not dairy, but milk.
Yeah.
And because there's so much good alternatives, oat and stuff like that. With fruit and vegetables, I follow this clean 15 and dirty dozen rule. I don't, you know that?
Of course.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, but please explain it because there were people.
Yeah, so basically you have like the dirty dozen is like the dozen of fruits you can eat safely, which is like everything which has like a thick skin, like a mango or avocado or banana. Because you say like basically the part you eat from the fruit or the vegetable is not so much like exposed to pesticides. Meanwhile, everything where you have like a thin skin, berries, strawberries, potatoes, onions, whatsoever, you should go for organic because you basically if it's exposed to pesticides directly, it goes into your body.
You're eating the skin, so
yeah. And then like where I draw the line is eggs, or not where I draw the line, but where I also like where I'm careful, and which is very hurtful because you have like these like 2 dirham eggs compared to a 20 dirham box for the same amount, but you say like no, be conscious here.
Can you taste the difference now? Would you know the difference between an organic
no,
egg
but let's stay with eggs. You see the difference. You see, like, and I mean, like, it's common knowledge, like, that they put, like, if you feed your chicken corn, not even the skin or the meat itself gets yellow, also the egg gets yellow, and so that's what they do. And so if the egg looks too good, like, I'm like,
be suspicious.
Be suspicious.
If it looks too good, it normally is. Something's wrong.
But then also, my brain tricks me a lot into stuff, like, if I think it's unhealthy, I like avoid it. Like I just need 2 opinions and someone tells me like, you know what, tap water is not good for you, which is like maybe true. Then and then 10 doctors in a white suit can come to me and like no, it's perfectly fine. There's actually something good for you. And I'm like, let's rethink that, you know. Like it's weird. Like my brain tricks me. I think already like non-organic eggs are not good for you, so I can't really enjoy a non-organic egg.
Yeah, I'm the same actually. I don't think I've eaten a non-organic egg for years. But then I think also, you know, because I got into the whole organic thing when I had my first child. Before that, I was quite conscious of health and I ate healthy, but I didn't really understand, you know, the difference between organic and non-organic and pesticides. And then when I had him, and then I was feeding another human being and he was only eating what I was giving him, that was a huge like catalyst for me to then start thinking, okay, what am I actually feeding him?
Yeah.
And that's why I got on this whole sort of healthy eating and organic.
This is actually like also I see a lot of like our audience is like either like health freaks, yoga, yada yada, but also moms. Especially like if you, I think like when you're a mom and now you have like the whole gang you have to feed, like then something switches.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like the dads are like, oh my god, like thank you.
Yeah, taking care.
And
of
then people who are sick actually, and then they realize like, oh, they had cancer or something horrible, and then they start to shifting, and ask themselves why, how could that happen? Yeah.
And the foods are huge. I went to, a few years ago, I went to Kerala in India and I did this Ayurvedic course. It was amazing. And I like a cold breakfast, like a smoothie or, you know, something fruity. And they don't eat so many fruits there. So a pineapple was the only fruit really that they ate.
They don't have so many
Not
fruits?
so many. It's not a big part of their diet. They eat lots of, their sort of philosophy is that you should eat warm, semi-cooked food because it's easy for the digestive system and it prevents like gases and things. So I was having the first 3 days, I was having dal for breakfast and I couldn't eat it because I was so used to having I was craving smoothies.
Yeah.
And then by day 4, it was, I mean, and my stomach was flat, I felt healthy, I had so much energy, and it was all this sort of ethos about eating, and that was very organic, you know, they grow their own food, you know, farm to table. But I felt, and I think I eat quite healthy, but I eat lots of raw salad, lots of smoothies. And when I did this sort of, you know, semi-cooked, curried, lots of spices, but not spicy, but herbs, you know, for the digestive system, I felt amazing. I had so much more energy. And then I came back and then, you know, but it's preparation, you know, it's time. You have to take the time to, you know, to make
Aren't
the
they in
effort.
Kerala like also pretty vegetarian?
All vegetarian.
All vegetarian.
Yeah. They drink cow's milk, but it's got to be from, they call it from a happy cow. So the happy cow has to be in the field, eating grass, you know, roaming around free. They don't use anything that's been, you know, sort of man-made or
Kerala is on my
mass-produced.
bucket list big time.
It's a beautiful
And also
place.
like having dal for breakfast. I mean, like just for non-Dubai listeners or non-Indian listeners, dal is lentils, right?
Right.
Having that for breakfast, that was the first time here in Dubai, and like also like all this Indian cuisine. I only had like I got into it here. I'm loving it.
Yeah, same. It's so flavorful.
Biryani is one of my favorites.
Yeah. And you have quite an extensive menu at the Organic Cafe.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't think so because I have the same thing every single time I come. I have the chopped salad every day, pretty much every day.
You know we have different things
I know
on the
you
menu.
do, but I just love that particular salad. And my husband has the same thing. He has the
Chia salmon
chia
with
salmon,
extra sauce, please.
extra sauce. Everything was so predictable. But you do have a very, very vast menu.
Yeah, almost.
You know, how do you manage that on a day-to-day basis with stock and supplies?
Yeah, so it's already like it's pretty common to say, yeah, sorry, that's not available. Still, we manage to have everything somehow by its organization, yeah. But sometimes, like if you run out of something and you mismanaged or you managed poorly, you have to wait 3 months. Like we had we have sushi rice. So just like to a little insight, we do burgers, salads, we do sushi, pizza.
Pizzas.
Big
How
pizzas,
big are your pizzas?
jumbo pizzas. It's like 68 centimeters,
68
which is like
centimeters.
do we get that on the camera? Yeah. Yeah. So we do a lot, and it's tough. It's tough because if you pass by and if you try everything, like sushi is amazing. Like it's not just like some put together sushi. It's good sushi and then everything organic. Our pizza is delicious. I wouldn't say that just because I get paid to say that. I say that also because it's really my opinion. We have an amazing executive chef who knows a little bit of everything, and each and every menu, every recipe on the menu is like created by him. Yeah, and then we have a good start line with like all these. Basically, what we do, and this is pretty. I never worked in a restaurant like this. Is you have your warehouse attached to your cafe, you know, and if you get like inspired through a lot of things, and we have like all these. I'm very curious. I walk around through the store. If there's something new, I look at it. I open it. I try something out. Kale powder, acai. I just like found out about it like when this big acai wave hit us. Now it's everywhere. But also they're testing it out, and I think like we have so much. We have to do so much because there is so much to offer. And so we have to constantly to add something. A little example, when COVID hit the world, when the pandemic was on, what we did is we kind of shrinked our team to like to the smallest amount, because also our sales were so little, because we had no seatings and stuff like that. But then at the same time, we had also to shrink our menu, like our a la carte menu, because you can't do so much. Like everything is like related to manpower, yeah.
True.
Mise en place takes time. You have to cut it in the morning, yeah. But you have only 2 people, yeah. So we had to shrink it, and over the time, like within like 3 weeks, we added another 3 dishes, and then another 3, and then we're like, what are we doing? We're like, yeah, but we have to, you know, because like then out of a sudden you have a new item, which is konjac. Yeah, konjac is like these shirataki noodles, which have basically no calories. So we had that new from our own brand, Organic Larder. So we had to put it on the menu. Yeah. So another item. Then we have too much fennel or something like that. Like I say, like I'm really not, like I say that to my customers constantly. We are kind of a recycling bin. Like we have
use the
to
produce,
There's broccoli on the shelves. You can't use that anymore because it has a little brown spots, but it's perfectly fine for soup. So we take it, we make a soup out of it, and we sell it, and that's good. That's also what we believe in, and so we have a lot of fennel. We have to make a fennel salad, another item, you know, and it goes on and on like that. So. Yeah, we have fish. Obviously, we have to do sushi. We have a bakery. Obviously, we have to do bakery goods like pizza. And yeah, so there's a lot of things. It's
never ending.
And it's never ending. Yeah.
But I guess the advantage for you is that if you do run out of supplies, you've got the supermarket right next door, so you can. You know, chefs can go across, get what they need, and bring it back to the kitchen. You're not having to order and wait for deliveries, and it's right there.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Like our meanwhile in other restaurants, you see after the service is over, you see the chef like standing on his list, like and ordering, and need to be very, very, very specific, because you have one-time delivery once a day in the morning or in noontime. And if it's not there, it's not there. Khalas, 86 the item. But we are like, okay, let's take it, you know. So it's pretty good.
It's advantages, and there's a huge range, you know, for because it's a relatively decent sized store, but from the outside it doesn't. They don't look that big, and then when you go inside, it's like a TARDIS. It just goes all the way back. Yeah. And there's such a range of products. I was in there yesterday, as you know, because you saw me there. And I like you have this stand at the back. I took a photograph actually, and I posted it on social media. And it's about refilling your plastic. Yeah. Detergents and liquids. So again, you know, I love the whole sort of, not that it's just organic, but you're also environmentally friendly as well. So how can we reduce waste? How can we look after the environment? And I just think that's amazing. Who came up with that concept?
Oh, the mastermind himself, Mr. Neil a la carte. But he is... like, I mean, there's all these concepts like in Germany, you have a lot of stuff like that. In Kreuzberg, Berlin, you have a store where it only works like that. Everything is in bulk bin containers, and you kind of do that on your own. Very hipsterish. But this is something. Plastic is a big enemy of ours. If you go through the shop and, for example, for the cafe department or everything what we produce here in house, and we put it in like a takeaway container thing, nothing is plastic. Everything is like PLA, which is like a plastic substitute made out of corn, which is biodegradable if you compost it correctly. I have to say that. And it's also expensive because you have to store it in a chiller, because then it's like if you don't do that after 80 degrees or something,
it starts to decompose.
Decompose, shrinks and all this kind of stuff. So these kind of promotions, like bring your own stuff, works pretty well with our customer. Also, we have like these nets for fruit and vegetable. You see a lot of people doing that. We do, for example, we have these honey jars which you can close. We tell the customer, bring it back. We give you 5 dirham back for your next purchase. We had these fruit and jam jars, which we only use for our water glasses in the cafe.
Yes, yes.
Also, if you go into a cafe and you see like everything is like recycled or upcycled, our tables are all made from old pallets. The wall is made from old pallets. We have like these plants made from old scrap. So to repurpose things is very important. Also, with the thought behind to avoid plastic, single-use plastic. We used to have these plastic water bottles, which we only used for our customers, like still water, Emirates water, something like that. And in the cafes, all over the cafes, we realized like, oh my God, like this is so much waste.
How much wastage. Yeah.
So what we came up with is like having a water filter system, a good one, yeah? So we have like 3 different filters. We run it through like a water, like a osmosis machine where you see the water looks pretty nice actually. Like kids are like, oh, what is that?
It's very impressive.
It is very impressive, and then it goes through a kind of like a beer tap, like the adults also like, oh, what is this? No, it's only water, sir. Then we carbonize it, and there we have like these kind of like these bottles were similar to this ones, and we have that in our store, and we only sell them for 9.50, which is okay. You get a first filling. And our thought behind that is like, bring your bottle back, and then we refill it for only 2 dirham.
Amazing.
So that's just to cut down. And we had like these plastic bottles all over the place, and I thought to work like with some dog shelters. There was this lady who built it like ACs. Without with these bottles, like they put like these
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she could only take so much, you know, and then you donated like 1,000 bottles, and then next day you have another 100. So yeah, so fight the plastic.
Fight the plastic.
Fight the plastic.
I think that again, and we did a seminar the other day. We were talking to a group of actually crypto specialists, and they were saying that, you know, right now we're going through this whole transition where the youth are coming up, and the youth are so well educated on environmental issues, you know, plastic waste, that the future's very bright.
Yeah.
You know, there's, you know, young entrepreneur. There was a young entrepreneur, I think he was about 14, and he developed this system that you put into the sea, and it basically, you know, gets rid of and cleans all the plastic from these plastic pockets in the ocean. At 14, you know, they're thinking already of, you know, this sort of mindset. And
I saw this guy on another podcast, a famous podcast.
Excuse me.
It's the one with the bald guy. And he was there, and I was so blown away.
Yeah.
Like, and you have Greta Thunberg, like, who's like, you have these like Friday for Future or something like that, all over Europe. These are all like 13,
Incredible.
14 years old kids. But honestly, I would be concerned if they wouldn't be there, because like if they don't wake up, like it's almost like too late, you know, like and now you have like all these electric cars and Tesla, but is this the solution? I'm not sure, because like also these batteries, how to produce them, like there's a lot of pollution in creating that. So we need these kids, we need these kids, and it's going to be a shame. It's going to be like they will look at us and like what have you done to the planet?
We're now rectifying.
Yeah,
you know,
like I mean, like
and decades of.
if you have like this nuclear wastage, it's like active for X amount of years, only to like for 2 generations of electricity, and then like 4,000 generations after that has to live with this wastage. They think about how to make safe, to tell them on the wastage to not open it, because it's because
crazy. This generation will be gone. Who knows?
New languages and stuff like that. There's really like a science behind that. Like how can we make safe that no one will open that? I'm like, you think about that? It's a little bit late.
yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
No, but I think, at least it's small steps, isn't it? And, what you do, you have your impact in the UAE market.
Yeah.
Whether it's a big impact or a small impact, it's an impact. And, looking at the future, what's next for Organic Cafe? Where does Neil see the brand growing, and what's his sort of, brainchild for the future?
I mean, expand, like having more stores. I mean, the more stores you have, the more, or the brighter your message is.
More stores in the UAE, or you're looking
more
at
stores
going throughout
in the Middle East,
Okay.
all over. That's what I think, and then, like look into it. It's a constant work, like small things. Yesterday I thought like we need to have like this. It's actually a shame that we don't have it now. It's like a go green button where you don't print out anything anymore.
Yes,
we go
yeah.
with an app where you actually get your receipt on your app. Stuff like that, encourage we do already we reuse these boxes,
Yes,
like where actually stuff was inside. Have you ever noticed it's impossible in other stores to get like one of these boxes instead?
It's
like I have a
impossible.
hard time. I don't want to say names, but
Very difficult.
when I go to
What upsets me is that when I go to I still get one plastic bag, and they put, and I don't use plastic, I take my own, recycle bags, but, if you do, I see them, packing bags, and it's like 3 items for this plastic bag, 2 items for this, and I'm like, come on, guys. Like, where's the education? We know by now that...
It starts by their training. Someone told them chicken has to be, can't be with the detergent or stuff like that. My biggest accomplishment this year was like I have like this InstaShop store which is very close to me, and I'm only ordering from the same store because they're very fast and very friendly, and they don't bring me a plastic bag anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm always standing at the door. I'm like, no, take the plastic bag. And now they don't even
They've
bring that. And I was like,
learned to
oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
so,
that's very
because
good.
like it's also crazy how much plastic bags you have in your household. Yeah, and you're already like someone who is not
It's
so plastic bag
anti-plastic.
pro. And then I'm thinking like, what are the other people doing? Like they must like drown in plastic bags. Another store here in the UAE does something which I like, is like bring your old plastic bags and then someone else can take them. It's like a container, you put
Okay.
them inside and you take them out. There is so much to do. Necessarily, I don't want to reveal the big marketing plans for the future, but yeah, it is also like in terms of alternative lighting. We have already like a different gas in our fridge, in our refrigerating
Okay.
system, which is like better for the environment. There's a lot of things to do, and I think like as well as humanity has to come up with something, and there's still something to figure out. I think all these brands and all these green brands has to figure out something. Yeah. The straws. There was this big like Save the Turtles, and when they
Yes, yeah.
pull out the straw out of the turtle, we didn't know what to do. I had such an issue with straws, and then we went back and forth. Should we use reusable straws? I calculated it. I'm like, it's impossible. It doesn't,
Yeah.
like the amount of labor to clean that, and then you have a little piece of pulp sticking on it
Inside.
because it's not even worth it. So we remove straws at all. The amount of hate.
Really?
Like how is this possible? I'm like, use your mouse. Like try it. You can do it.
We
I
never had
believe in you.
stores, when humanity started, so we
So I had
managed
to
quite
remove
well.
stuff. Like I'm also fair. I had to remove a milkshake because like how to do that,
Yeah.
Then I bought spoons, like if you have like, now we have straws made out of pasta and apple pulp, which are pretty nice because like they get soggy after an hour, and then like you eat them, they're kind of sweet. It's nice, but also expensive,
That's
so,
the thing.
So it's like I'm very like, you sure you want a straw because like.
It's almost, we lived in Thailand for 3 years before we moved back to Dubai, and having the metal straws are very popular there, or the bamboo straws, and it's almost like an accessory. So because they did such a big campaign, there, you're surrounded by the ocean, and you see in the morning when you go to the beach, the garbage is on the beach. You don't see it here, but when you go places like Far East, you see that.
Yeah.
So you become very conscious. You don't want your children playing in the ocean with plastic bags and flip-flops going by. So it caught on very quickly, and suddenly they did this whole campaign with these straws, and you could have your branded straw with your little logo or your name on the straw, and it became an accessory. So you'd sit down for lunch or dinner, you'd bring out your mobile phone, you'd bring out your little straw packet, and everybody had them. And suddenly after maybe this 8-month campaign, if you didn't have your own straw,
who are you?
You were like, you don't have your own straw?
Do you belong to society?
Yeah. So it was quite nice to see that these things can take hold, and there is a shift.
You still have them?
I have my own straws, yes. They're metal. Well, I have them at home for the kids too, because they have smoothies, and I don't do straws.
I mean, I got some made out of bamboo with a nice little brush,
But they go funny inside though over time. If you can't dishwash them, because they start to the bamboo starts to break down.
See, and this is the problem. Like for something where you you have 100, 200 drinks a day. How can you do that? You can't.
You can't, exactly. But then, like you say, you don't need a straw.
In France, McDonald's France did something. They just removed it and they give you like a little, like for kids when you drink out of this
like a sippy cup.
A zippy cup. Thank you. Yeah, they have that.
Okay.
Which is pretty interesting because France used to be in the 90s such a polluter of everything, and now they go they have also this law of don't a supermarket can't throw away the fruit and vegetables anymore like that.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, every second tomato lands into the bin. You didn't know that? In Europe at least, every second tomato in the supermarket thrown away.
Wow,
yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. And so France said you can't do that. Either you feed the homeless or you feed farms or whatsoever.
Or use it for compost or something, put it back to the earth.
Something, repurpose it. Repurpose.
So exciting times ahead. So we're looking for big expansions now with Organic Cafe.
Yes.
And what's in store for Max?
What's in store for Max? Yes, I don't know. I had such a growth in the past, personally. I don't know if there's more to go. No, but I have a lot of projects, also private, which I want to check out. For me, I think I have still a couple of years in Dubai for sure. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because we started the podcast with actually I wanted to stay 1 or 2 years, but it's already 5 years. But yeah, this country did so well during COVID and the pandemic that I kind of rearranged myself and kind of re-fell in love with Dubai. Seriously.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So, work-wise with organic, I really don't know. I'm happy that I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be so boring. And also, every time I make plans, nothing happens of that. Something completely different happens. I'm oh yeah, tomorrow I wear green. No, it's blue. So I'm kind of happy that there's still a question mark. Yeah.
So watch this space. We'll have you back on in 2 years and see where you are then and
what's
happening.
God. Yeah.
Amazing.
The beard will be longer. Let's see.
So for people out there then, Max, who, they haven't been to Organic Cafe before, they haven't shopped with Organic Cafe before, how do they find you? Do you have app? Do you have social media? Do you have delivery?
Yes, we have a lot of things. You can order online if you're still afraid to go out. You can order through organicfoodsandcafe.com. You find us on Instagram, Facebook. We have 8 stores here in the UAE. We have 7, one in Abu Dhabi. You find us on Sheikh Zayed Road. We have a big store in Al Quoz 1. The signage couldn't be any bigger. We have one big store next to Global Village, a nice one. You have to look at this, our cafe in Global Village or at Global Village, has a nice play area for kids.
It's actually amazing for kids.
It's a no-brainer. The dads eat, the kids play, the moms do shopping.
Yes.
We have 2 floors, amazing food. And we have a little bit of everything. Yeah, so it definitely for everyone. We deliver pizza all over Dubai. We deliver the jumbo pizzas. If you have a kids party and you're overwhelmed, hey, just order it. You can pay online. It's organic pizza in the app stores or on the Play Store for Google. And yeah, it's amazing pizza, and it comes with a smile, hopefully.
No, the pizzas are amazing. Actually, all the food is amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm an advocate because, I'm there every day, as you know. So, Max, thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you for
such
having
a
me.
pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really looking forward to seeing, things to come and where this exciting brand goes. And let's talk again in the near future and see what other exciting things you have. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you.